Welcome back, everybody. Derrick Sue, your East Oakland advocate. Well, another tidbit here about the budget and the police officer services here in Oakland. And the problem that Oakland police officers seem to have is that they have a lack of morals, ethics, and honesty. And that's not all the officers. It's just a small handful of officers. And I'm specifically talking about 4 officers right now. And they've been on administrative leave for over a year for their indiscretions and violations here in the city of Oakland. 2 of the officers were disciplined, well, not disciplined yet, but have been on administrative leave because they were found drunk on duty. They were drinking on duty, and they're carrying a weapon. And the problem that we have with drinking on the job is that it impairs their ability to make rational thoughts, and then also makes some people very unstable. So we can't have drug usage nor alcoholism on the force, and especially not out on the streets. But it really hurts us because these are disciplinary measures that are in place, and it costs us, the taxpayers, a lot of money. And the Oakland Police Department does not seem to care about the cost. And so these issues are lingering for much longer periods than they should be. Typically, I view a police officer's indiscretion and an investigation that opens should be done and completed within 90 days, period. No excuses, 90 days. And then another 30 days later to render a final decision on the outcome of that indiscretion by the Oakland police officer. In the case of the alcohol on duty, we know that the POA, Oakland POA, has a provision for what they call employee assistance package. And the employee assistance package helps with a lot of mental issues, alcohol related issues, stress issues, suicide issues. So there is a package there for the officers to take advantage of. And there's no excuse for any officer to be drunk while on patrol, period. There's no excuse for it. And then another one where he was speeding at over 100 miles an hour here in East Oakland and crashed his car. And then he got out, ran away, and then what he really did, that wasn't the really bad part. This is the really bad part now. He made a phone call to 911 claiming he was carjacked, and that we found out is and was a falsehood. So he flat out lied. That's an automatic termination and also decertification of his police officer's status. Lying is a felony, and that would be grounds for an immediate termination. No, there's no coming back from that, because if he did it once, and the Oakland Police Department uses the same formula. If you lie once, everything in your everybody that was arrested or charged with something now becomes questionable, and they are subject to a new hearing and a new trial, possibly. So this has serious consequences, and these police officers, they're getting paid, pretty good money from us. Currently, we have just over 700 officers, but with this current budget crisis and the uncertainty of when money is coming in from the Oakland Coliseum sale, it puts into question a lot of police officers, because now we have to go to the national minimum of 619 officers, down from a little over 700 currently. So that is a big problem. And then the pay. Let's get, this is interesting. Any officer who is under investigation is automatically placed on administrative leave, meaning that they're not on the street doing the job that they were hired to, but they're still paid. So that creates a problem, because if the investigative time is excessive, like for the officers in question, the two officers, here's what's interesting. Here's Oakland police officer average pay for a new officer while they're going through the academy and their first year of being on the streets. Trainee officer receives $55,700 in salary, and up to a high of $85,600. That's for a new police officer on the street, and that's pretty good pay. And so the average here in Oakland for a new police officer on patrol before overtime is $71,746. That's the compensation they receive before overtime. And let me tell you about overtime now. The overtime is really crazy, because we've had officers make nearly $500,000 in overtime. $500,000 in overtime. People, that's not acceptable. We have to have the correct number of police officers. We have to be paying them the correct amounts. But here's another thing. 90% of the police officers, their average pay here in Oakland is $105,659. That's the average officer. 90% of the officers are receiving this who are on the street. So trainee officers, $5,500.10 a month while they're in the academy. And it takes them 5 years to reach the top tier, the very top tier of the pay for a senior officer. Senior officers are paid $73,329 annually before overtime. And again, like I said, if you go and look at the overtime that Oakland has paid out to the Oakland police officers, it is insane, the amount. And a lot of the overtime I see on their averages nearly $200,000 in overtime. So that is a budgetary problem for the city of Oakland, especially when we're talking about the financial woes here in Oakland. So as police captain Floyd Mitchell currently is paid $149,783 annually. So he has a substantial pay. Along with that, you have the benefits package, which is complete health care for them and their family, dental, vacation, sick leave. They have holiday pay, even if they work holidays, life insurance, the employee assistance package, and that's a real big variable there. So there's a lot of things in that package. Then there's a deferred compensation program and credit union benefits. So these are all the things that police officers here in Oakland are receiving as compensation. So the package is very attractive. The pay is fair. The overtime is there. But unfortunately, the city can't afford overtime, and we cannot afford to be paying this excessive amount of overtime pay that we've been uh, having to deal with for a number of years because of the incompetencies through and the inefficiencies of the Oakland Police Department. So these are things that need to be corrected and reined in, so to speak. So uh, hopefully that sheds some light on some of the budgetary problems, especially with the police department, because while they set a budget with the basic pay and the average pay, they cannot in any way estimate the need and the numbers that they have to have for overtime because of the police shortages and the amount of crime in Oakland. Thanks for joining me today. We'll be right back.